Brothers and sisters, spell breakers, brother, sister, family, in the world, online. Salute what's happening to my divine generals out there, because we got warriors and generals, you know. And as I love to say, every part of a righteous tree matters. Brother, sister, family, if one is solid, righteously solid in that heart, so be thankful. And you know, I always gotta honor thy ancestors, far and near, those who fought through tooth and nail to get many of us in that great divine space that we are in. So thank the current subscriber, new subscriber, anybody that view, I salute you and thank you. And let's get into it, my warriors, my knowledgeable, righteous, knowledgeable warriors, brother, sister, family, in the world, online. Remember, it's above and beyond thing, you know, in our mind, you know, and it's wonderful. Mind, body, and soul. We got to be on fire and be seekers of righteous knowledge. And I want to give a salute. I know I'll speak on T.I. a lot, but I want to give a salute to T.I. I seen a interview recently, and he had a Caucasian, a older lady that has been on this planet for a while. She's a Caucasian lady, and she really dove in deep on some really profound truth. It was some real truth. It was dope, and I really enjoyed it. So salute to T.I. and his platform, his channel. I think it's called Expeditiously. And the next one I gotta watch is him and Too Short, because I've spoke on Too Short in the past. Well, how Too Short is very intelligent and underestimated, I think. So I'm looking forward to listening to that. So salute to T.I. for elevating. He's just one of my favorite rappers. Of course, Tech Nine. I always speak on Tech Nine. Those two have collab, you know, of course, real, recognize real. But salute to anyone like T.I., brother or sister, that's just seeking truth and staying within truth, you know. And many great things come when we cling to that great divine spirit deep within. And one thing she said that stuck out, and I'm gonna get to the volunteering, which we're gonna speak on, because I did volunteer yesterday, and I reiterate, I said I wasn't going to speak on it until I actually did it, and I did it yesterday, and I'll get into that. But this is just a little side note, and I got another side note of one of my beautiful sisters I love, that's a R&B singer, but we'll get to her in a minute. But again, salute to T.I. But this older lady he was interviewing, it was very profound, and she said people think Barack Obama was the first black president, but she said actually Abraham Lincoln was the first black president. And she said Abraham Lincoln was mixed with, I think it was black and Cherokee, but many people probably know this, but that's all I heard, you know. I have to do my own research on Abraham Lincoln, because all I know is what I learned in school. I really don't know the deep core nationality of Abraham Lincoln, but that's just one of many things she said. And she said, man, she says a lot of truth. She broke it down, you know, and you can tell it was real. You can tell and she's a teacher. And she said where she works, she's a teacher, and in the school she teaches at, she said that she's so good at what she does that they allow her to speak her truth to the students, because she's so powerful, and she's so good at her profession that they need her. So it's like she got them bowing down to her. You know, I'm seeing 1111 right now. I always say I see spiritual numbers. I'm seeing 1111 right now. As you've heard me in the past, I said I see 444, 1111, sometimes the threes. But my number is 7, as well as Lord Lamont. Salute. Again, this is the EBX and Lord Lamont show. Just me speaking right now. And again, he'll be speaking too, probably tomorrow or Saturday. But anyway, getting back to the Caucasian lady T.I. was interviewing, very interesting. And she said she's so good at her profession that they have to allow her to speak her truth. Now, they don't like it, but they have to allow her. It's like she got them in a corner where they need her, you know. And that's wonderful, because as I said, I heard from a Caucasian guy a long time ago that used to speak, and he talked about, now I've spoke on this before, I'm just kind of reiterating it. He talked about how Caucasians are under a spell also, just a different kind of spells. It's like different tiers to you know, how toxic entities of the world, quote unquote, that think they run the world outside the public and melanated brothers and sisters white people have been tricked too. They have been made to believe, and I don't like that word believe, but have been made to believe that they are superior over other races, which is a manipulation in of itself. They are literally casualties of war, because when it come down to it, they won't care about them either. But that's neither here nor there. But those are some of the things that Caucasian lady was talking about. And I would have to say my best teachers I have learned from that really impacted me were black. But it is, like Malcolm X said, we will take advice or listen to knowledge that Caucasian people may have, because a lot of them do know. But don't take over the cause. We can hear your truth. It's okay if you understand where melanated brothers and sisters have been through. But as Malcolm X said, we'll call you if needed. Don't try to take over the cause, because that's where the problem lies. Rest in peace and power, Malcolm X. I remember he said that, and remember that part in the movie where the white girl walked up to him and he said, "Thank you, appreciate it, but we'll call you if needed." Let the black man and the black woman, lead their culture. But we're not going to turn away knowledge, because we need knowledge from some Caucasian people. It's good to kind of learn their ways too, because some of them, not all of them, are enemies. Not trying to kumbaya. I'm just kind of speaking some facts here. But listen to them so we can learn, the ones that are enemies, so we can know how they operate. So keep our ears open for things. We don't consume negative things, but we understand it, observe it, so we can learn what not to do. So the next generation, as we get into, we can impact generations to come with that real truth, even when it's not easy, because it's not always easy. But I just wanted to bring that up. I watched the whole interview. I was into it. I don't know. I'm infatuated with knowledge and knowing things. That's why it's good to have a student spirit, as I always say. A student spirit, man, we'll flourish in this life as brother, sister, family. But let's get into it, my spell breakers. Volunteering, I did yesterday, and it was a wonderful time. And when I haven't seen the kids in a while and I see them, it's so refreshing. And as I said before, being around children and being an impact in their lives, it's a beautiful frequency. It's beautiful. It's the same frequency we get when we immerse ourselves in Mama Nature. I'm so infatuated with Mama Nature now that I pay attention to it. So that's the same feeling I get when I'm around the youth. So it was wonderful to be back at the school, and of course, salute to the faculty. I get along with all of them. They always welcome me in. As I said, they actually gave me a t-shirt. It's called FBI, Fathers Being Involved. Now, some days can be challenging, and I try to spread the love and the teaching and, to all the children. I try to do that to all of them, And just our presence alone, brothers and sisters, sends off a great vibration to the children, and they just light up. Now, I will say, some days are challenging. Like my son, now when I first got to the school, the teacher, because I keep in contact. That's the thing too, parents, just advice out there. Now, these are things I didn't do at one time, but it's a benefit to our life and our children's life, whether it's male, female, brother or sister, and to my parents. When we're in their life, much as we can get in these schools and kind of help the teachers and help shape them along, especially if they're a listening teacher and they're willing to work with you. Man, that's a blessing and a blessing right there. When you can be on the same accord with a teacher and they're not fighting against you, that's beautiful. So, and when he was in school last year, his teacher, Mr. Hall, salute to Mr. Hall, which was a brother, great brother. And he's a good guy. And again, the principal, Mr. Nichols, he's a brother. And the coordinator for teacher and parent conferences and events and stuff like that, Mrs. Rainey, which is a great sister. And she the one that kind of pushed me, and not pushed me like in a bad way, righteously, pushed me into wanting to volunteer. She just called me out the blue one day. And it's wonderful. And then they have the father and son day where the father brings the son to school. So she runs that kind of stuff. So salute to Mrs. Rainey, Mr. Nichols, which is the principal, and Mr. Hall, which is my son teacher last year. But he got a new teacher this year. And she's a Caucasian lady, but she's cool. I've talked to her and she keeps in contact with me. And my son was doing great. he's been doing great, but he has his challenging days. And yesterday was one of them. When I left, I have to work on him. Of course, when kids are young, whether it's male or female, some of them don't know how to deal with their emotions, and they're children. That's why they need warriors, our parents around them to guide them and help them to deal with the emotions they get and why they get them. But kids mess with each other and tease each other, and kids don't know how to handle that. But my son, I'm gonna have to work on his his anger, because again, as I said on the last podcast, that denial shit, we cannot be in denial. So, and we have to ponder things, meditate on it. And I think about my son, all my children, my divine children, my biological children. Salute, may they great divine stay in their life, please, and keep them strong and prospering. Yeah, but he had a little challenge yesterday with a little bit of anger. When he can't get his way, and some of that stems. Not all of his attitude comes from his mom, but some of that comes from her, because she don't like to deal with the truth. And we got to deal with the truth, whether we like it or not. We'll be better when we come out on the other side of that truth. Got to go through the uncomfortable to get to the righteous comfortable, but not too comfortable. So I'm going to deal with him. And, like I said, I communicate with his teacher, and he was just, I don't know what was wrong with him. It was right after I left. He was doing so great. Right after I left, he gets in these modes. He wants to do what he wants to do. So I'm going to have to get on him about that, because I want to make like my son Ethan. I'm talking about my son Ethan, my 11-year-old. Like he's, this great kid all the time. But of course, I want him to be, and he is a lot of the times. But as we know, as children, can do or be, as male, female, they're going to have their challenges. They're children, like we all did. So I don't want to make like he's good all the time, but he gonna be all right in the end, as well as all one's children are and is. Everyone goes through their struggle, whether in a young adult life or in adult life, but we stay with it as warriors. And I'm again volunteering, and in whatever way we can. Ain't always gotta be volunteering in the school, but just get involved and impact our generations to come. Always got to keep that future in our mind. What we do righteous in the present, say it with me, folks, will ultimately benefit us in the future. Now, I got a side note, and then we're going to get into the power of peace. That's why I got this on my banner, and the thumbnail is my son Ethan's school. And I've showed this on the thumbnail before, but on the banner here is the hallway that I've spoke on, where my desk be, and it'd be so peaceful and quiet. And this is where I do my writing. As I spoke on, I reiterate, I got 2 books, 150 pages. The first book, Unlocking the Vault, and the second book I'm working on, which I wrote in the page yesterday in this very hallway you see on the banner. Now, I want to take pictures of the children I volunteer with, but you got to be careful at schools and stuff taking pictures, because this world is so crazy and bizarre, as I heard a brother say. So you gotta be careful of that. But I do have some audio of me volunteering with the children, and I might play that in here, but I should have looked it up. I gotta find it and all that. But if anything, I'll do it at the end if I can find it. Yeah, I'll find it, and maybe I can put it at the end of the podcast, and just let you hear the children's voice and be conversing with them and stuff. But it's an old audio clip, probably from like last year. But yeah, it's wonderful being involved with the children, But we're gonna get into the power of peace again. This is where I do my writing. In the hallway here is so peaceful, and they had this thing yesterday at my son's school. And salute to all the children there, and they call, like I said, they call me Ethan's dad. It's just wonderful. And they'd be so happy to see me, and I'd be happy to see them. And it's just wonderful getting involved, Yep. But we're going to get into the power of peace. And I want to read a page from my book, Solitude Strength. It's a page on, book I'm working on as we speak. And again, it's just pages I write in a composition. It is a book. It say book on it. So it is a book. But it's wonderful. I don't know if I ever publish it. I'm just going wherever that great divine takes me. I just flow with it. As I said recently, my last podcast, how being grateful sinners is, I keep it simple. You know, again, not a naive, not a naive simple, just simple, you know, because when we got clarity, we can see things, you know, outside this so-called matrix. All right. Now we're going to get into the power of peace. And I'm going to read a page from my book, Solitude Strength. And I'm on page 5. But I got a little side note. You know, I always talk about my sisters and how beautiful they are. Remember, all kinds, dark skinned, brown skinned, light skinned, skinny, heavy set. Every sister has a beauty, you know, whether it's some have it inner and out. Some just have an inner beauty that, man, that physical beauty has no contest against. And that's what's most beautiful, inner beauty. But it is nice when a sister can be beautiful on the outside. But of course, I'm always speaking on that inner beauty. And as I said in the early part of the podcast, it's one of my favorite R&B singers. I mention her all the time. I even did a podcast on her, and she's been in tributes and everything. She always come up when my son and I speak on music, you know, or I speak on it. And I also want to speak on that number 44 that I see all the time. And I read the summary on 44. It's an angel number. You know, it means we're aligned. We're on the right path. I've read that. I actually read that with my son. But a salute to Keisha Cole, one of my favorite R&B singers. I got many female or sister R&B singers I like, but she's one of my favorite, as well as Eve. I would say Keisha Cole, Eve, and Lauryn Hill, 3 of my favorite all-time sisters of music. But Keisha Cole is beautiful. I'm looking at a picture of her, and she's beautiful, man. To me, she's natural. Now, she might like wear maybe some little eyelashes or a little eyeliner, but it's not too much, you know, because she's pretty. She don't need all that shit. And excuse me, sorry, forgive me for the cursing. But she don't need all that crap, you know, and she's just beautiful. And she just had a birthday, and guess what age she is? 44. Now, that's what I'm saying. I see that number all the time. And it just happened to be Keisha Cole, who's 44. Now tell me, that's not a coincidence, brothers and sisters. Sometimes we can be linked, have a divine connection with a brother or sister and never been around them, never met them. It's all about how cleansed we are in that soul, because that's the only way we'll see things. When we have clarity deep within our divine soul, we be amazed how our third eye can reach out over the whole world. It's not impossible. You know, it's not impossible. It depends on how our thinking is. Do we think large about ourselves in the world, or do we keep ourselves in a small itty bitty space? You know, because as I like to say about that great divine Mama Nature, it's the most powerful thing we'll ever experience in this life. And that's facts, as well as the universe, because the great divine is, and the Mother Nature, it's all around us. It's powerful. As I said, it's great divine Mama Nature has seen our kind come and go. We're not doing anything as brothers and sisters. That's why I laugh at those who think they hold power over the public and or melanated brothers and sisters. It's laughable, because that great divine, again, have seen our kind come and go, you know. And it's hilarious to see things. That's who holds the power at the end of the day. I don't get too far into that though. But salute to Keisha Cole. Very beautiful. I love Keisha Cole. And you know, may that great divine stay in her life and her family and her significant other if she had one. I got respect for that too. I don't know if she's married or with anyone, but she's just my great artist. And I'm sure if she has a significant other, I'm sure they love her and appreciate her too. Because in one's opinion and or theory, she's always held it down. You know, I don't think the industry got to her or Eve, especially Lauryn Hill, you know. So salute to her. And she just turned 44. And so happy B-Day to Sister Keisha Cole. And 44 is my number. So I just thought that was kind of amazing. So I just wanted to share that. But let's get back to volunteering and being an impact to our youth for generations and generations to come. You know, stay with it. Be amazed. When we're a seeker of knowledge and doing the right things and standing up right as a general, great divine things will come automatically. You know why? Because that's how principles work. Not rules, principles. Now, we do have to show tough love, like I said. We'll know. Once we're at that place of heightened awareness, we'll learn how to balance that love. And I'm talking about like discipline for our children. we do have to show that little tough love sometimes. And children do have to know they have to have respect for themselves and their elders and their parents. Because again, all of us, none of us would be here without our parents, great parents, grandparents, or great grandparents. So they have to have respect for one's parents. They have to learn that respect, especially when they go out in the world. Because as I like to say, the world don't give a crap how we feel. So one has to be true and aware of oneself deep in that core, and that could be brother, sister, or the youth. So it's wonderful volunteering. I'm glad I did it. As I said in the past, I remember I was kind of hesitant to do it. When I started doing it and getting involved, it's like, man, I'm glad I did this. And I only do it maybe once a week. I want to pick up a couple more days, but I got to kind of work my way into that because we have to have rest. We have to stretch our body, work out, breathing exercises, watch how we eat. Man, a lot of things we have to do to remain stable if we want to be stable in our mind, body, and soul in this life, because we have to have ourselves right as brothers and sisters, parents within, so we can, our presence can show that energy, and we can, purposely give that teaching energy to our youth. Just our presence alone sends a great vibration, a righteous vibration to our youth, because I see it all the time. And I actually miss them when I don't see them for a while. It's just, man, I'm telling you. And the beauty of hearing kids play, like I stay right across the street from a school. And I've always stayed by schools, I noticed that. Even my brother, salute to my sister Shahina and my brother Marlon. And Marlon and I, we had an apartment together, and we stayed by a school. And there's something about hearing children play. Again, it's like that same frequency of being in nature. It's the same feeling. So it just gives you a warm feeling, helping someone, whether it's a youth, adult, or family, whether it's a positive word or it's a physical action. We stay at it, even in the times when it's not easy. Always got to kind of keep that in mind, just to kind of keep us on a righteous guard. And just know, challenges will come, but we stay on top of things, stand on business, there'll be less challenges. And that goes with our youth, ourselves, children, family, significant other. That righteous round, and be thankful for the warriors and the generals that are, if they're in our inner realm or maybe a little bit on the outer realm, because they're brothers and sisters, that we may not see in person, but still have that divine connection, especially to our youth. Stay connected to our youth best way we can. Always come up with a solution. There's no such thing as giving up. We come at a challenge at every angle, so all right, but it's great being with the children. And y'all already know I'm gonna have a hip hop break. So I think I'm gonna get to this hip hop break, and I'm gonna have a breakdown about the wonderful power of having peace. Like on my banner in this hallway, they had, like I said, they had this thing called the lockdown. It was like a drill in case, God forbid anything happens. But you know how they do practice drills in schools. So they had a lockdown yesterday, and it was so quiet. They did it for like 5 minutes. That was the most peaceful, quiet moment. It was so quiet, no kid. It was quiet. And one of the faculty members was walking through the hall, like, peaceful, huh? Ain't this quiet? I was like, yeah, it's so quiet, and it's wonderful. So again, not every day is going to be easy. There are going to be challenges. But when we got warriors, I'm talking about adults, standing on guard and guiding these children, we'll be ready. We stay with it. Tough love, but love nonetheless. Always got to keep that love at the base. Brother, sister, family, younger or older. All right. So let's get to this hip hop break. And the first song, if I can remember, thank those for riding along. Current subscriber, new subscriber, anybody that listens, anybody that view, I salute you and thank you. And my son, Lord Lamont, he thanks you. And the first song is Opportunity. We have discernment, and we'll know once we have that heightened awareness. We'll know if it's an opportunity or something to deter us. We'll feel it in our gut. Everyone feels, like I told my son, Lord Lamont, we discussed this. The first instinct is usually the correct, because especially if we're on a righteous path and we're impacting humanity and or culture. Great divine will show us signs. But again, we can't be in a low vibrational thinking and petty and just free falling through life and not appreciating stuff. And we'll miss things. It's wonderful to be in a space of seeking and seeing knowledge and guiding our youth, because they're coming in, as I said, they're coming into a different time. That's why we need our warriors, our generals, talking about our adults, brother, sister, family, to guide this next generation. They're going to have to be aware. It's getting to the point we have to have some kind of intelligence. So, and I'm not talking about book knowledge or education, just being aware, staying on point, standing on business for our youth, so we can impact them for generations to come. I'm going to do what I got to do, just like other warriors out here. Salute in the world, online, and in our families. Brother, sister, that's a warrior out here. So not playing no games. If we just right in our heart and not hurting ourselves, like I said, and not hurting ourselves or hurting no one else, just doing what we have to do, that's a vibration. That's a good vibration, because great divine, that gives that great divine mama nature something to work with. When we have righteous fire within, pass it on to our youth. All right, the first song is Opportunity, and the next one is Still Around. The next one is a little aggressive, because again, we gotta have that tough love too in life, but love nonetheless. Like I said, be back after this, warriors. Opportunity. This is the first song. All right.
Shit. Wake up music. Brothers and sisters. Yeah. Yeah. What the heck we waiting for? When we can have so much more. Opportunities knocking at the door. Yeah. Knocking at the door. Brothers and sisters, what the heck we waiting for? Yeah. And we can have so much more. Opportunities knocking at the door. Yeah. A man is knocking at the door. Brothers and sisters, what the heck we waiting for? And we can have so much more. Opportunities knocking at the door. Yeah. A man is knocking at the door. Brothers and sisters, what the heck we waiting for? I gotta see, making sure we clear out in these streets. Gotta be a beast, righteously, making sure we here and we on our feet. Protection for our family. I gotta stay firm and watch out for the greed. And yeah, we'll be good. A man up in a soul. I'm trying to trust my family, sisters, and all my bros. And yeah, be a warrior and a general. And in this life, be bold and never ever fold. I gotta keep the spirit so deep in this life. This the only way that I can be the E. The same way I am, I want you to be too. I want us to be happy in this life and make it through. I want us to be happy, never having no blues. And man, it feels so good, man, when we true. What the heck we waiting for? Opportunities knocking at the door. A man is knocking at the door. A man, we have so much more. A man, we can get so much more. Brothers and sisters, what the heck we waiting for? What the heck we waiting for? Opportunity, man, it's knocking at the door. Man, I'd have been through a lot of things, but I'm here today, and I got the same brain. I'm thankful for my brothers and my children and my family. I always talk about that, man, on every beat. Man, so deep embedded, all up in my bones. How I stayed up in this life on these songs, and I stay strong. Stay and stick with that divine zone in my spirit. In this life, I keep on going. We can hear it, man, so deep within. It's the only way that we can win. We do the process every day, again and again. Thanking that great divine every day I wake up. I'm trying to touch my family, brothers and sisters, man, stay tough. We got so much more. What the heck we waiting for? Opportunities knocking at the door.
Real talk, brothers and sisters. Knocking at the door. Real talk. Like me volunteering, I'm glad I took that opportunity. Now, that was a righteous opportunity, and again, I know parents have a busy life, and I gave this advice before. Have a busy life, busy schedule, but if not once a week, once a month, once every other week, get involved in these schools and in our children's lives. Go up there and visit. Real talk, and just pop in on them. It's a great benefit for the parent, I'm talking about male or female, brother or sister, and for the child, And for one, it lets you know that you care. Two, it'll kind of keep things in line, and we as parents or guardians, we can see what's going on with the school. We can't treat these schools like daycares. Have to get involved. And again, folks, that's for me too. It was a time I didn't do that, but like I said, when I turned 50, a light bulb came on. Now, this is for my young youth. You don't have to wait that long. You can be aware at a young age. But still, I want our youth to enjoy the young youth, though. We don't want them to grow up too fast. But still kind of be aware, at the same time, Because, it's unfortunate that some youth, like some of these celebs, for example, some of them lost their innocence at a young age. That's why I don't really want any of my children to go nowhere near Hollywood, period. But that dream has failed. Everybody is up on the illusion of Hollywood now. That's no longer a myth, secret, theory. It's turning into facts in some areas. It depends on where our knowledge is, where we're getting our knowledge from, And if we have a student spirit, and it's okay if we are wrong on things, that's when that momentum will grow. That's when we elevate. When we say, you know what, that wasn't right, correction. It's wonderful, and that's keeping things simple. Again, not a naive simple, especially when it comes to our youth. Again, we got to be a little tough in some areas because we want them to be strong, young male or young female. All right, the next song is called One Still Around. I did go a little hard on here, a little aggressive, because as I said about the so-called devil, the devil don't give a crap if we're soft or hard. It just wants that soul. So sometimes you got to be a little aggressive to let that devil know. Ain't nothing happening over here, player. Nothing happening, Captain. Real talk. So we got to stand firm and keep that evil entity away from our youth at all costs. Can't play with it. Stay focused in this life with that great, great divine Mama Nature. So that's what this next song is about. And it's okay to be a little aggressive. Maybe be a righteous gangster, but have a meaning, And again, impacting generations to come. That's what it's all about. All right. And adults too, if they're on board. So be back after this. Got a breakdown of the power of peace. And I'm going to salute you. I'm going to read a page from my book. And I'm going to salute you, Divine Warriors, on to your divine life. All right. Be back after this. One Still Around. Let's go.
EBX, I'm still standing. I like my generals. Can't bring one down, one is still around. Can't bring one down, one still around. Can't bring one down, one is still around. Can't bring one down, one still around. Ring that bell, a time will tell. And send all evil people straight to hell. Born leader, overachiever, no time for toxic shit. While I rip with this gift, never chasing no beaver. A brand new me, a whole different E. And so full of life and integrity, and loving my kids and my family. Divine protection, nothing can touch the E. And fuck the devil, I make his ass bleed. I break his ass down into his fucking knees. I gotta be strategic while we out in these streets. Man, we out in these streets. Whoop! Yeah. Can't bring one down, one is still around. Yeah. Can't bring one down, one is still around. Yeah. In this bitch, I hold up my fist. Yeah. You know I stay grounded. about it. I never get
Never.
pissed and no complaining.
I'm not gon' fuss.
I keep giving on this mission. We control us.
Yeah.
And what people say about me don't give a fuck.
Yeah.
I'm never looking down.
I keep on looking up.
A spiritual battle. The only way to be connected that divine and make a mind free. Woo!
Chip
Can't bring
one down, one is still around.
can't
Bring one down,
one
still around.
one can bring one
Down, one is still around.
can't
Bring one down, one is still around. Round.
salute.
Yeah. Wake up music. Yeah. Real talk. Yep. Can't bring one down, brothers and sisters, you know? And, you know, you got to come up. I see it. I made a song called I Can Go Hard, but, you know, I choose not to. So just because you see a brother and sister that's maintaining an evil, not evil, my bad. When you see a brother and sister, I did not mean to say that. When you see a brother and sister that's able to maintain themselves and be calm, you know, it doesn't mean that they take crap. It just, one gets to a point where they're able, as my son, Lord Lamont said, salute. One is able to control one's emotions. But just because you see a brother and sister that maybe that come off kind or, you know, just smooth and even, don't mean that it's not a storm within. You know, we learn how to contain that storm, don't we? Because we all have challenges. It's just a matter of how we deal with it. You know, we get to a point where challenges become less. You know, I always say less stress or no stress at all. That's what it's all about. Because as guardians, as parents, if we're stressful within, we're going to pass the energy on to our youth. So let's get into it. You know, I got to break down, as I said, of the power of peace. And peace can you know, when you get into your, you know, meditative, like I always say, deep meditation and or deep prayer, and get into ourselves, and when nothing else is pulling on us, we can come up with a solution. Like my son, not my son, Lord Lamont, but I'm fumbling today. Like my son Ethan, you know, the challenges he had yesterday, you know, I pondered it. I come up with a solution, what I'm going to do, but we can't give up. And it's, you know, it's to better our children so they can know. Because, again, our youth, our young brothers, young sisters, our young males and females, because I do deal with the Caucasian kids too. You know, I treat every child the same, you know, and it's, let me see, I think it's one little Caucasian kid that's in my son's school. He's a cool little dude, you know, his name Jamie. You know, he's new to the school. He's cool, quiet, and good little kid, you know, and I treat him the same as the others. And it's predominantly black kids at my son's school. I don't think it's too many. I see a few white kids, but it's not many. It's mostly black. And so, you know, it's just wonderful getting involved, you know. But having the power of peace, it's more than just, like my son and I said, Lord Lamont, it's more than just floating on this cloud and just, now sometimes it can be peaceful, quiet, easy moments, but peace, a lot of things can stem from having the power of peace, you know, like getting to oneself, away from things that, you know, that's pulling on us, so we can think and come up with a solution for ourselves, brothers and sisters, family, significant other, especially our youth. Now, going back to when I said my son had a challenge yesterday, he was kind of acting up in class. I got something for him, you know, but I ponder it. You know, those instincts, we can't, I'm going to get him, I'm going to whoop his butt, I'm going to do this. No, slow down, take time, you know, think of what you want. First, talk to him. Then, you know, then we kind of shift over and not overdrive, but kind of a more of aggressive teaching just to let them know, hey, this has to stop, because kids have to know. They have to know respect. And, you know, you have to have a certain code in different places. Now, we're all aware about the school and jobs and, you know, things we talk about. But I'm talking about why we are in this here, I want to say it, system, you know, but keep an eye on our children, guide them, you know, because it's all about getting into the core of them so they can be the best of themselves outside of the school. We go way above and beyond that. It's about building a general in our children so they can be ready for some of these wars that they're going to be facing here in the times to come. Because again, as many of our philosophers are aware of, brother or sister, that's been on this planet, again, like I said, since around the 70s, we've seen it all. Whether Caucasian or melanated, we've seen it all. So, those of us that know the truth and know what it is and know how really complex the times that this youth is coming into. That's why we got to stop playing and guide our youth and keep them strong. Of course, educated on some things, having intelligence, but not just on technology, just being aware of the world, the matrix and how things can tap into our emotions, ads, commercials, movies, we have to stay on. It's a lot of things, there's things coming at us at all angles, if not every angle. I say that a lot. So we take all those principles and tie it in to teaching our youth. And I'm saying all that to say, that's what I'm going to take with me when I do speak with my son on the situation or the challenges he may have sometimes. But again, as I said, keep love and peace at the base, because it's powerful. And it's a powerful thing. It's not as I like to say, positive energy is a means for creating a better life. Sometimes even when it's not easy, because again, it's not this floating on a cloud type thing. That's what, not all Christians now, but that's what some of these Christians do. No, sometimes you gotta be a little tough and rough. I'm talking about righteously, because again, the devil don't give a damn if we're soft, easy, or what. Devil want that soul any way it can get it. But remember, the devil is a coward. That's why it needs us. It can't exist without a human being. It's like a parasite. So if we don't be a host, a parasite will feed amongst themselves. So anything that's parasitic, toxic, please, I beg you, stay away from it so we can stay focused on our youth and stay away from distractions from person, place, thing, especially if it's toxic. Because again, I would do whatever it takes to impact our youth, my own biological and my divine children, above and beyond. A wide scope. That's how our pineal gland got to be. All right, leaders and teachers, let's get into it. The power of peace refers to the strength and positive influence that comes from inner calm, which I was speaking on my banner here. That's what my banner represents. A peace, inner calm. Then we can get in our subconscious, come up with a solution. But we have to be peaceful within. We can't. When I said earlier, some of us have a storm within. I'm not talking about chaos. I'm talking about something that's burning in us that's not dealing with no nonsense. That's kind of storm I meant. But we also can have chaos. That's why we have to develop inner calm, which ain't easy. It takes practice, as my son and I, Lord Lamont, spoke on. Salute. Inner calm in harmonious external environments. See, our inner calm creates we can almost, I say, because we all feel energy, but inner calm, like I said, when I go to my son's school, my presence alone, I just see the smiles on the children's face and how the faculty reacts and all that kind of stuff. It's wonderful, so that's where that inner calm can show in our presence on the outside, and we can literally, I won't say change the environment, but help make the environment better. So that's where that inner calm comes into play. So let me see. Computer kind of acting crazy here. You know how it go. All right, we're back at it. Oops. Okay, here we go. Excuse me for the pause, brothers and sisters. Computer doing what it do. It's happened sometimes. All right, and we back on. Gotta have that mojo. Now let's finish the summary. Now, let's start over because that messed me up. The power of peace refers to the strength and positive influence that comes from inner calm, as I just explained all that a minute ago, and harmonious external environments. We create harmonious external environments when we have a righteous peace, inner calm deep within, enabling personal growth, community strength, and global. Hear that word? That word is global. Like I said, above and beyond, a wide scope thinking, stability. It is a force that contrasts with aggression. Didn't I just speak on aggression and conflict? We learn to balance that, because some things do have to have, I would say, a righteous aggression. Because as I said, the devil don't care if we're nice, easy, hard, doesn't matter. Just wants that soul. Anyway, it can get it. Allowing energy to be directed toward goals instead of being drained by strife. It's wonderful. The power of peace can be a source of individual resilience. Resilience, that word resilience will be in just about every summary I read. And clarity, that word too. Resilience and clarity, and fosters better socio-economic outcomes in societies, according to sources. Yep. Let me see. Sources like Vocal Media, okay, and the Institute for Economics and Peace. Individual and community level, personal transformation, cultivating inner peace, can lead to greater self-esteem, emotional healing, and the ability to navigate life's challenges with more resilience. It's beautiful, and again, these things takes practice, elevation, experiences, some know-how, righteously knowing how, and learn to listen to our children. That's for me too. It's something I didn't do. See where they're coming from. If they are having a challenge, if they're misbehaving, talk to them, see why they're misbehaving. If we can get to the core, even if they act like they're not listening, because kids do that too, still speak to them, because remember, they're still listening. A kid will listen even if they don't show it physically. They're still listening, and they will comprehend, especially if they know one cares. And I'm talking about parents, brother, sister, family, male or female. We got to stay at it. There's no such thing as giving up. Remember, we're impacting generations to come, and that's why it's good to know our children's friends, peers, so we can see what type of children they are, because we shape their lives too just by showing up. As I heard a brother say, just by being present, we're impacting a child's life. Our presence alone sends off a vibration. Like I said in that summary, inner calmness, it leaks out on to others. When people know when you are truly real and calm and just have a calm presence, people can sense it. And I'll give an example. Then I'm gonna read this book from this page. I've been fumbling today. I'm gonna read this page from my book, Solitude Strength. But I want to give an example how people just can sense the righteousness in you, and the calmness sometimes we have, and the peace we carry. Youth, children can sense it. Adults can sense it. I want to give an example. My brother D that I work with on the job. As I said, I'm a cook / chef. My brother, his name Darius, and he a good brother. And we have the most deepest conversations. We connect. It's wonderful. And he was telling me about his challenge, and I listen to people too. When people talking, because I know when somebody genuinely real and somebody just surface talking. If you just talking about petty shit, you ain't talking about nothing. I'm really gonna. I'll stand there. I act like I'm listening, but I'll tune you out. But if it's something that really is significant and it's important, and it's something that I can relate to and it's deep. Now, my brother D, I work with Darius. Now I'm gonna speak to my son with him too. We gotta speak on him. Good brother, man. Deep. He's a deep thinker, as well as my brother Joseph, another brother I work with. He's a deep thinker. We all have our different journeys and paths. We're all not perfect. We have our challenges, little quirks and stuff. But at the end of the day, brother Joseph, which is into music, and he's a comedian. He doing his thing. And Darius he's kind of a younger brother, but very smart and intelligent. Has a couple kids, significant other, and he was just telling me some challenges he was having with her and some of his brothers, and his brothers, and one of them is having heart surgery, and it was just, man, it was heartfelt when he was telling me this stuff he was doing. He just had a lot of stuff on his plate, and some a couple of his brothers, locked up, and he just really had a challenging life, and he's able to maintain through it all. That's that inner peace. And it's something he said to me I thank brothers like him that sometimes they just, and he came, because he always say, "What's up, my boy?" He always say that, "My boy," or something like that. It's just a figure of speech. And I say, "Hey, what's up, my brother?" And we always give each other a dap. And I like how he wears his hair natural. He wears it in braids or a fro. I think that's dope. And he's a deep thinking brother. He's a good brother. And he came in. He said, "Man, I want to be like you." I said, "Like me?" I said, "How am I?" I said, "You see something in me I don't see?" He's like, man, you always chill and cool, calm. I was like, wow. And sometimes in life, as brother, sister, I'm talking about, adults, as we know, or a young adult that's aware. Sometimes when we're just flowing, just natural, flowing like mama nature and just flowing through life and not looking for recognition, and we just being us, people can sense that. And he said that. I was like, wow, I never really thought of myself like that. I'm just being who I always been. I want to be like you, man. And he said, you just seem peaceful, calm. And right away we started talking. And because I like to listen to speeches and stuff. Actually, I was listening to that T.I. interview I was speaking on a little while ago. I was watching that. So he started talking. I stopped the interview, paused it, and I started listening to the brother. I don't do like most people. They looking at their phone and they ain't listening. And again, unless it's something I really don't want to hear. But I wanted to hear the brother. And we talk all the time. We always have good ass. We talk for a long time too. So I paused the phone and, kind of slid it away. And I listened to the brother. And we had a good conversation, and it's wonderful. So I just wanted to bring that up. Salute to Brother D. I call him Brother D. His name Darius. I call him Brother D and Brother Joseph and Brother Logan too. Another deep thinker that I work with. Three good brothers, and we all have our own different challenges in our life, but so it's Brother Joseph, Brother Logan, and Brother D. Salute. And Sister Bev I work with, she's an older lady. And a Caucasian lady I work with named Linda, which is Linda funny. She's funny. She's one of them country white girls and down south. You talk like this and why, but she cool though. She funny. So I work with her. So salute to them. Just we all have our own different experiences, and the stories I've heard from all of them, they all have been through their struggles. So I just wanted, that was just a little side note of people we connect to sometimes. That they can sense a righteous, deep connection within you, and that's wonderful when we experience that, especially when it's with the youth, because that's what this podcast is about. Man, impacting generations to come. It's beautiful, and knowing the power of peace when we finally get to it, because it can be challenging. I'll never want to come off like it's an easy thing, but it's beautiful when we can develop it as brother, sister, family, general, in the world, online, younger or older. All right, my spell breakers. I'm gonna read this page from my book I wrote yesterday. From my book, one of the pages I wrote yesterday, page 5 in 5/15/25. That's the right date. Yeah, 10. Excuse me, 10. I told you I've been fumbling today. Again, I ain't editing out nothing. Ain't no AI. All right. 10/15/25. I wrote this yesterday. I'm gonna read this, and then I'm gonna salute you, divine warriors on to your divine life. Thank those for joining in another edition of EBX Discussion and EBX and Lord Lamont Show, because this is his platform too. So again, you'll be hearing from him either tomorrow or Saturday. All right. So let's go, leaders and teachers with a student spirit. Page from my book. When we know. Let me see. Might hear a little paper shuffling. Forgive me. All right. When we know our power deep within, that divine power, that is, the journey becomes clear. Our purpose becomes clear, even clearer. Once that divine flame is lit, the rest is history. We transform into divine warriors for a season. Then that great divine promotes us to generals. The ultimate awakening. Some get there sooner, some get there later, but we better get there. Better not wait too late, But it's definitely a great state of mind to be in, because life can be unpredictable. So we as warriors and generals, we have to know the art of unpredictability, and not against our loved ones, just entities of the world. That's evil. That's what we be unpredictable to, because they're trying to learn our behavior. Throw them a loop. You know what I'm saying? Don't do the same thing every day. Do different things. Don't post all day every day. Be different. Just one's advice. All right. The art of unpredictability. It's a beautiful thing to have. And again, it's not manipulating people or our loved ones or nothing like that. Just staying away from evil entities so we can focus on the things that are important. What I always say: ourselves, children, family, significant other. Then we work our way out to our generals. All right. Having peace in one's soul is so important. It gives divine something to work with. If one is aware, mind, body, and soul. Again, as I like to say, that's what Mama Nature, that great divine in the universe, it draws from positive energy, especially if it's in the core of our soul. And we stick to that, man, brothers and sisters. And I'm telling you, many of us are there. So again, I'm just a messenger. This is just confirmation. But I'm telling you, for those who, man, have a hinkling of righteous in your soul, stay with it. Keep, let that flame get bigger, that divine flame. Let nothing put it out. We've been through too much to get to where we are. Again, keep guiding our youth. I'll never give up. The fight must go on, even when it's challenging. Just being humble enough to know that we know that challenges will come. That's what will keep us ready for ourselves, our family, and our youth. So thank those who are coming in, and those who are out there in communities that have platforms and in the communities. I salute you, brother, sister, family, because every part of a righteous tree matters, as I love to say. The twigs, the leaves, the big branches, the little branches, the bark, and of course, the root, because that's where it all began. So we got righteous things in our root. Man, nothing can mess with us. And our youth will be on fire. And there's a lot of us that will have our youth ready for this complex time that they're coming into. No, we can't be in denial. That's not even in our vocabulary. No denial at all. And that's for me too. I will stay with it and add to humanity and our culture, and keep thriving and helping the youth, and being there for the youth, best way one can. I will work on my quirks and little things I have to deal with, because I too sometimes have challenges. I never want to make light, when I do everything right and everything goes right, because it doesn't. We just learn to deal with it in a strategic way, in a righteous way, as we hear a lot of our philosophers say, suffer righteously, get into, again, the power of peace. When we get into oneself, away from things, then we can see clearly, but it takes a lot of focus. We can't have petty things bogging us down, that human flesh, folks. I've warned people, a human flesh, never ever listen to our human flesh. You'll never find the answers in our human flesh, real talk, because that's what the evil entities will love to do, to control our flesh and our minds. And man, so again, keep guiding the youth, the generations to come. That's what it's all about. And I will do whatever it takes. Salute to my family, my biological family, my divine family, my divine children, and my biological children, and may that great divine be in their life. And anyone's listening, brothers and sisters in the world online, may that great divine protect us, protection from that great divine for ourselves and from ourselves, so we never ever become our own worst enemy. Keep guiding our youth and be on fire out here, and keep developing and never lose the power of peace. Salute. This was brought to you by Mama Nature and that great divine. Salute.